So Scotland, it's a land of locks, its legends and seriously underrated rock bands. From new wave to neo-prog, punk to pub rock, Scotland's given us some incredible sounds over the years. Stick around, because today we're diving into 9 brilliant bands from north of the border, each in just 60 seconds. Let's roll the tape. So this is the 4th in the series of Scottish bands. There is a playlist with some of the other videos in it, which I'll leave a card for up here and something in the description as well. Let's kick it off with The Big Dish, one of those why weren't they massive kind of bands. Formed in Airdrie in the 1980s, their sound was shimmering, literate pop rock, a bit like perhaps Prefab Sprout, but with more melancholy drizzle. Now, Stephen Lindsay's songwriting, it was really smart, it was sharp and really totally radio-friendly. Their biggest hit, Miss America, was a gentle dig at US culture, wrapped in lush guitar pop. They never quite cracked it commercially, but critics loved their classy production and thoughtful lyrics. It's really perfect for Sunday afternoons and romantic regret. Alright, this next one's a bit of a cheat, I'll hold my hands up. Marillion were mostly English, but frontman Fish, pure Midlothian, and don't argue with him about that. The band were pioneers of neo-progressive rock in the 80s. Epic songs, poetic lyrics, and really enough eyeliner to make a raccoon blush. Now their hit Kayleigh became a wedding staple. It's ironic really, because it's a song about heartbreak. Fish-era Marillion albums like Misplaced Childhood were conceptual, moody and gloriously over the top, but somehow they worked. Critics called them the thinking person's rock band. Then Fish left in 1988 and he became a solo bard, but Marillion kept going with Steve Hogarth. But those Fish years, prog gold. Now let's kick it up a gear. The Rezillos. Now, imagine if you can the B-52s and the Ramones. If they had a baby and raised it in an Edinburgh art school, this is what you'd get. You get the picture? Now, formed in 1976, they were pure punk pop joy. Sci-fi themes, day-glow fashion, and more energy than a toddler on Urn Brew. Top of the Pops and Flying Saucer Attack are cult classics. Faye Fife and Eugene Reynolds fronted the chaos, and they were as visually bonkers as they were musically tight. Critics said they were punk with a wink, and they're still playing today. Honestly, they make most modern bands look sleepy. Now here's one you've definitely heard, even if you don't know it yet, and a real favourite of mine. The Fratellis from Glasgow burst onto the scene in 2006 with Chelsea Dagger, that stomping indie rock anthem now hardwired into sports stadiums and darts arenas. Think of the Libertines, but with tighter jeans and fewer arrests. Their debut album, Costello Music, was stuffed with hooks and swagger. Critics said of them, they called them a shot of adrenaline into the post-Brit-pop hangover. They went on a hiatus, but they came back. They clearly grew up a bit, but that chaotic chanting energy, it's still there. Try Henrietta or Whistle for the Choir, pure bangers. So if you're lonely, why don't you say you're not lonely? Now, named after a Frank Sinatra movie, Danny Wilson were Dundee's answer to Steely Dan. They were jazzy, breezy, but painfully underrated. Their massive 1987 hit, Mary's Prayer, a lush, bittersweet slice of pop perfection, has never quite left the radio dial. They were led by Gary Clark. Their music was sophisticated but accessible. Think Burt Bacharach meets 80s synth pop. Now, they only lasted 2 albums, and that was a real shame, but what albums they were. The critics adored their songwriting, even if the charts didn't always agree. And a fun fact for you here, Gary Clark went on to write hits for Natalie Imbruglia, Lizzo, and even the Sing Street soundtrack. Now, before the Eurythmics, there was a band called the Tourists. Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart's first major band was really a post-punk new wave hybrid. They were formed in London but fronted by the mighty Scottish Lennox. My God, what a voice she's got. Their hit, I Only Want to Be With You, this was a cover, but what a cover, full of energy, and Lennox's powerhouse vocals. Now, they were arty, they were a little awkward, and critically, let's say, divisive. But you can hear hints of future greatness in their sound. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Annie described the band as a learning curve, which is really rock star code for this was weird, but fun. Still, they helped launch one of music's best duos. Don't forget that. Now then, let's get heavy. Like, seriously heavy. Ironclaw from Dumfries were Scotland's proto-metal pioneers. Sabbath-level riffs before most people knew what a power chord was. Now, they were formed in 1969, and they were loud, doom-laden, and really well ahead of their time. Some call them the Scottish Black Sabbath, which isn't really far off. Now, sadly, they never got a record deal in their heyday. Most people really didn't hear about them until, 30 years later, when some dusty demos got released. Critics now look at them and call them a lost gem of early metal. Now, if you like fuzz, feedback and hair, dive in. Oh, now don't you just know that sax part? Gerry Rafferty was the man behind Baker Street, a song so iconic it's been played approximately 17 billion times since 1978. Gerry was born in Paisley, and he blended folk, rock and pop with a weary poetic soul. Before going solo, he was in Stealers Wheel. Remember them with Stuck in the Middle with You? Yep, that song from Reservoir Dogs. But it was his album City to City that was his masterpiece. It was introspective, beautiful, and a bit sad, really. Critics called him a reluctant star. He hated touring. He didn't like the fame, but left behind music that still resonates with so many people. We end this time very strongly with Deacon Blue, Glasgow's beloved purveyors of anthemic heartland pop. Their breakout hit, Dignity, is basically a national treasure, the tale of a working man and his dreamboat, really, quite literally. Ricky Ross and Lorraine McIntosh's harmonies gave them a unique sound, somewhere between, Bruce Springsteen and kitchen sink drama. Now, albums like Raintown and When the World Knows Your Name, these were just huge in the UK. Critics called them earnest, which is music press speak for we secretly like this but really won't admit to it. And yes, they're still going strong today, I'm very pleased to see.
Fergus sings the blues, bars of 12 or less.
Now, these bands have all been suggested by you, the viewers, and from the art school punks to thoughtful balladeers, really, Scotland's rock history is much more than just bagpipes and Braveheart. So next time you are building a playlist, give these legends a spin, if you will, and remember, real rock lies north of the wall. Check out the description to this video, if you will. It's packed with facts and information so many of you won't see. So like this video if you've enjoyed the episode, and watch the very first video in this series next, which was really tremendously popular on the channel when I released it. And I'll see you over there.